Good morning, everyone. This is Judith Acup. You're listening to Mad Love. Won't be on here long, so let's get into it. So yesterday, I had a pretty meaningful conversation with someone who was very, very important to my brother, best friends for years and years. I don't think I'm oversharing, but turns out he's very ill. So ill that he's been given, the 12 to 15 months, diagnosis to live. Like, you're not going to be here much longer, sir. And I'm going to see him this weekend, and it probably will be the last time I see him unless there's a miracle. And it was the conversation that I didn't really know I needed to have. And I told him, I said, I'm not fatalistic or anything, but you've been given such a gift, because most of us don't know when our time will be up. And when you're dying, you're dying. I've been very, very ill myself, and I knew that I was very close to not being alive because I felt like it. You can feel it in your body, and people may not acknowledge it and they may not want to talk about it, but someone who's very ill knows that they're not going to be around. But a lot of times you don't get like, hey, with this particular thing you got maybe 6 months. Or maybe, 12 months to 24 months. Well, you know what I mean? It's not finite. Like, you don't get this time frame. So I told him, I said, I'm not fatalistic, but it's such a gift to know this time frame, because now you won't waste any time. Like, you're not going to waste 1 second of your day, which is something that I took with me when I got out of the hospital. Not that this is about me at all, but when people look at me and they wonder how I do so much, or how I always have energy, or why I'm not mad about certain things, or why, it's because I didn't want to waste any time. And I've been living that way for the last, 15 years. It's like, man, this has been a great blessing to recover, to get out of the hospital, to be mostly well. I don't want to waste any time. I'm not going to talk to people I don't like. I'm not going to do things I don't want to do. I'm not going to waste any time. I'm only going to focus on what makes me feel good and, doing what makes sense. And that included caregiving. But yeah, it was just really fascinating to talk to him. He's got a huge amount of emotional intelligence and empathy, and, he's trying to figure out how to have legacy conversations with his kids who are, in their 30s, I think. I mean, it just was a very interesting conversation to have. Somebody who knows our family, and they stayed close. My brother never mentioned that he stayed close, but they did visit me when I was at Howard. They both came to visit, and after that, he didn't really talk about him that much, but apparently they stayed in close touch and spoke all the time. And despite, my brother's bipolar, sometimes he would just be, off the reservation and you couldn't really chat him up. But I mean, that's a true friend. He kept finding him and he kept staying in his life. So as we begin the journey to go commemorate my family and place their ashes in the ocean and do all of that, I just want to say the overwhelming message that is coming to me is, when I tell you guys to stop being mad about stuff and stop kicking rocks about stuff, you have to do that, because you don't know. Everybody has an idea about, how they want to live their lives or what they think their lives should be like or whatever, but you really don't know the time frame. And if you look back over your life and you look at all the energy you wasted being mad at somebody who just was who they were, that's just who they were. And, you brought that person into your life. And if you stay mad, you're not learning the lesson. Because I believe we come here to learn things. And when you don't grow and evolve, you're not learning. And so, yeah, it's important to just let shit go. And there are a lot of people that just need to be let go. And let go of them and go live your life. however, whatever that looks like, because every day is one less day you're going to be here. And he was just sharing all the stuff he was doing. And it's like, this is stuff he's really wanted to do. He went to the Kentucky Derby. He went to a Indy 500 race. He's just been all over doing all the stuff that he really wanted to do. And imagine if you had to live your life like that every day. It sounds fucking exhilarating. Like, I'm just going to do all the shit I want to do. Because this earth is not my forever home. It's temporary. Anyway, I'm not articulating it as well as I would have liked, but the gift of being present and in the moment, I talk about it all the time because that's what I go for. I just try to be present. I just try to not waste any days. I try not to get tripped up about things that aren't important. And I've done a pretty good job of that. I've been mad about a few things here lately, but it's mostly just logistics and things that don't make sense to me because that's not how I process things. But, it is what it is. And find your joy and do that all the time because it goes fast. And one day you're going to wake up and you're going to be old, or you're going to be sick, or you're going to be something if you're blessed enough to keep living. So don't waste any time. And I know some of you are listening, you're like, well, I can't do this and I can't do that. Yeah, but you have an imagination. And if you can imagine yourself on a beach, your mind is always free. Your mind can go wherever you want it to go. And eventually, if you are passionate enough about it, it's going to happen in reality because that's how the mind is. It's got to bring it to you. That's what manifestation is. I don't know what other people have been calling it, but that's truly what manifestation is. You believe it, you feel it, you're passionate about it. And we've all done this. Usually it's just around somebody you wanted to date. But that is a perfect example of how the imagination works. You think about somebody, they're so cute, you can't wait to see them again, and you think about the dates in your brain, like what you're going to do, what you're going to wear, what he has on, all this stuff. You've done all this in your brain. And then eventually you started actually dating that person. That's manifestation. Same thing with a car. You saw yourself driving this cool car. It looked good. You didn't have any resistance to it because you really, really wanted it. And then all of a sudden you were able to go buy that car. So that's manifestation 101. And you can do it for bigger stuff too, but you got to get out of your own way and you got to allow yourself to have it. Because a lot of times, people aren't even winning in their dreams. You talk to them and it's like, well, I can't do this and I can't do that. And it's like, dude, you don't even win in your fantasies. Stop it. It's like, when people start trying to tell you stuff they want to see happen, and then, it's like, okay, did you dream about that? Yeah. And then they have a dream that they don't even win in that. That's not good. You got to figure it out. And life is short, and it's a lot of shit to be distracted by and angry with and afraid of. But at the end of the day, I guarantee you, my brother's friend isn't thinking about any of that. It's not even on a blip on his radar. And that's how we got to live too. Have a great rest of your week. I'll be checking in probably sometime next week. I don't want to lose momentum, but there's a lot of shows to catch up on. So if you just really have to hear my voice, there's plenty of shows out there. But yeah, take care of yourselves and just, fall in love with yourself and your life. You just don't get that much time. You really don't. Be well, be safe. Take care. Oh, if you have goals, because when I get back, it'll be June. I'm telling you, check out dailydrill.io. I built it for one thing, to help you stack good habits and hit your goals and hit your targets and get organized A lot of people are not where they want to be because they confuse busyness with getting things done. Everybody can be busy. That doesn't mean they're effective. dailydrill.io, askrefuel.com. That's for caregivers. And if you just want to see something about how evil and shitty people can be, check out halolist.io. Links in the description. I am deeply thankful for all of you all who listen, and I appreciate every single time you get this far into a podcast because, you could do anything, but you'd rather listen to me. And that, oddly, is very exciting. JK, be well.